Hello, everyone. How are y'all feeling out there? It has been quite a minute. It's been a little over a week since the full moon, which also was within that 8-8 portal, August 8th. And yeah, there's a couple things that I wanted to mention and just kind of share some of the things that I was going through that it seemed like a lot of people were also feeling the same. So it was like an 8-8 portal, unlike any other. And I feel like a lot of it is due to some of the overlapping energetic convergences that were also occurring during that 8-8 portal. So it is Leo season. So it was also the full moon in Aquarius, which Aquarius energy is all about individuation and rebellion, but for the purpose of our soul's liberation, like true authenticity, regardless of any external influences, past relationships. And that's part of the reason why I feel like this was a really earth-shattering kind of full moon / 8-8 portal, because it was that full moon in Aquarius. I feel like a lot of us started to really grasp the idea of understanding that this is our life, this is our path that we are tending to. And so anything that is not in support or is not celebrating our path, then we're realizing that that's something that we have to release, let go of. Not everybody, not everything is going to come with us on our path, and so we could be, or we could have been experiencing relationship fallouts, quitting a job, getting released from a job for whatever reason, realizing that this job or situation has just been sucking our energy. And so it's kind of that highlight of these realizations that occurred over the past week or so. So along with that came a lot of purging, a lot of letting go, and literal physical purging. I know myself, I caught a bug, some sort of cold. I think there was like a slight flu in there, and it was like a bunch of sinus congestion, so more releasing. And I mean, it can come in a lot of different forms. But during that 8-8 portal that weekend, we also had the Venus-Jupiter conjunction, which happened in the sign of Cancer. And what made this 8-8 portal even that much more significant is the alignment with Sirius, the spiritual sun, which is a fixed star, which is at 14 degrees Cancer. And since then, it was a kind of buzz event for 8-8, but not every year do we have an alignment with the Sirius star on August 8th, because Sirius is in the sign of Cancer, and the sun, where the sun is on 8-8, is in the sign of Leo. But this particular year, Venus and Jupiter were at the same degree as Sirius, which was at 14 degrees Cancer. And so we could have experienced a lot of sudden, unexpected blessings, people just being a lot more generous and kind and loving. So that was a nice feeling. Might not have been everybody's experience, because we still had the moon in Aries. It was like the last degrees of Pisces, and then it moved into Aries, opposing Mars and Libra. So, and it was also, the moon was conjunct Saturn and Neptune. So depending on, like, if you are a Cancer, which the moon rules, if you're a Saturn ruled sign, Capricorn or Aquarius, or if you're a Mars ruled sign, Aries or Scorpio, these could have been a little more challenging, or you might not have felt the full effects of the Venus-Jupiter conjunction. But we will have the moon moving into Cancer in the next couple days, which will kind of reactivate the Venus-Jupiter energies in the sign of Cancer. But at the moment it is a sun, at the moment it is a sun night, Jupiter hour, and the moon is in Gemini, and has been in Gemini for the past couple days, squaring the nodes. And so that could feel, depending on your sign as well, that could feel like being on the fence, or having a lot of options available to you, or not, knowing exactly what move or step to take. And I mean, on top of that, there's the active solar ship in residence and the solar activities, which also has an effect on our physiological bodies, like just needing more rest and more water, less screen time. I know for me, it's been like a resistance to be on the screen. And I mean, which also contributes to the fact of why I haven't been around very much. I mean, on top of like catching that bug right around the full moon in Aquarius, just trying to, take care of myself and get my immune system back up. It's just kind of like a resistance to screen time. So just really listening to your body. There's no shame in not being on all the time. And I feel like with these energies that are building with Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Aquarius in that sextile to Saturn and Neptune in Aries, it's going to, as Saturn and Neptune are also retrograde and about to re-enter Pisces, that emphasis on prioritizing our energy levels is going to be highlighted, and realizing that there's a lot of things that we are going to have to diminish or let go of. And that is another thing that I wanted to mention too, is the sun moving into Virgo on I believe it's the 20th. And so when the sun moves into Virgo, we will have a mutual reception with Mercury. Mercury is in the sign of Leo. And so with these two planets in one another's sign, they're going to have this agreement of knowing and expressing what needs to go. And during this Virgo season, we could experience a lot of the shadow sides of Virgo come to the surface, like overwork, over criticism, perfectionism, martyrdom, just doing things. Earth signs have that tendency to do things to keep things running smoothly, and they kind of assume responsibility sometimes a little too early. And with Virgo, it can be a control a factor, so that things need to be done right. They need to do it themselves. It's kind of like that Virgo thought pattern. And as we go through Virgo season, the sun is going to get closer to the South Node, which is in Virgo, and the South Node is that energy that diminishes those shadow sides of Virgo. So the North Node is in Pisces, and when we release all of these shadow sides of Virgo, we make room and we move toward the North Node in Pisces, which is trusting the unknown, trusting your intuition, following your intuition, being open to receiving messages from other worlds, and connecting to spirituality, and releasing the rules of religion. I think that's going to be a huge objective and theme during this North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo year. So we have about a year, less than a year left of these nodal themes of Pisces and Virgo. But there's so many signatures of change, like sudden change. The sun in Virgo is going to square Uranus and Gemini, which is going to create even more disruption, even more impetus to let go of things. And Uranus is that energy that shakes things up, lights a fire under us to unstagnate ourselves, if that's a word, to just quit that job or leave that relationship, start your own business. I mean, this is all coming up for us to move toward our soul's purpose. And we're going to realize what isn't going to serve us along our path, and just make room, come to terms with understanding that some things have just run their course, and there's more harm to ourselves trying to keep those things going, because the more we do that, that's taking away our energy toward what we could be putting toward our path, toward things that we actually enjoy. So, and realizing too that we can't control those big issues out there. We don't have the military power to meet these evil forces on the field, as Christopher Renstrom noted, like, as much as we want to come face to face with these evil empires, we can't we can only control ourselves. We don't have the decision making power. Like, the majority of us do not have that decision making power to meet them on the field with that same violent force. But what we do have is control over ourselves and the energy that we put out. And energy, everything is energy. And so we're starting to come to realize that the energy that we hold, the frequency that we hold, has a lot more power than what we've been told. We haven't been told actually anything about how powerful our energy is. It's only recently that we're coming to realize that our collective energy can override those powers that shouldn't be. And that's part of this lesson with Pisces. Neptune entered Pisces back in 2011, and I would say that that was when we started to really realize how meditation and yoga and all these modalities really allow us to peel away those programmed layers that are only suppressing our soul. And so now Neptune is retrograde, about to re-enter Pisces for the last time. Like, that last sweep, those last lessons of Neptune in Pisces, along with Saturn. So Saturn brings that discipline to really make sure that we are applying those practices, those spiritual practices of going inward and not getting distracted by the chaos that is manufactured. And I'm not saying that it's not impacting us. I mean, of course, all these horrific images are taking a toll on us, and that is part of the strategy of keeping us, like, dumbing us down. But now that we are learning more about how our energy is being used and the power that we actually have, we can do better. And that's part of the whole lesson with Saturn and Neptune going back into Pisces before it re-enters Aries and starts this entirely new cycle through the zodiac. So, there's significant energies converging at the same time, and I talked about that in the last video. Like, there's several different cultures that are speaking to this huge overthrow of past powers that shouldn't be, that will eventually lose their power, because we're going to collectively rise up. And so with this Virgo season, the new moon also will be at 0 degrees Virgo, which is a significant pure new start for purification. And Virgo is all about streamlining and getting rid of what no longer serves us. And there's like not just a doubling down, but like a quintupling down of making changes and tying up loose ends and really starting fresh and new. I mean, we have the South Node in Virgo, and mutual reception between Virgo and Leo with the Sun and Mercury, and the square between the Sun and Neptune, between the Sun and Uranus, is also another destabilizing, disruptive energy that is meant for us to make major changes. And then with the Sun in the trine to Pluto, as the moon starts to travel through Libra every month, is going to make this grand trine. So there's that mental capacity and understanding of making these sustainable changes, and they can be sudden with Uranus in the mix. Let's see. So lots of changes. Mercury comes out of shadow on the 23rd, and so between now and then, there can still be even more information, secrets divulged. Things are just going to kind of, people are going to show themselves out. They're going to reveal their true colors in one way or another, and it's meant for us to acknowledge it and release it, transmute it in some way. So yeah, there's a lot of course, changes, and Virgo is a mutable sign. So you want to take, all the time that we need. Give ourselves some grace and understanding for ourselves and one another. And if there's any curiosity of how these transits are affecting you, then definitely hit me up. But yeah, in the meantime, stay centered, stay grounded, stay hydrated. Yeah, thanks so much for sticking around. I hope this was helpful. Hopefully this made sense. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you on the next one. All the best.